All right, ladies and gentlemen, Melina, darling. Now, guys, there was a picture of a model. The model was very emaciated looking in the picture because they used a completely fake picture. They made her look very skinny because they just fired her for being overweight. So they fired her for being overweight, and then they made a picture of her. Like they adjusted the picture of her so that she looked emaciatingly thin, and looked fakely thin and anorexic, and then they didn't hire her back. So I'm like, oh my god, like, that is so cruel. But that's what modeling agencies do. You know, they want people to be a certain size, and they want them to be able to fit into certain clothes, and that's what they do, right? And the business is designed to have people look like that because that's the business. You know, if you want to be in that business, that's what you have to do to be in it. It's very, very sad, very traumatic for the models, of course, and no one should have to live through that experience. It must be very devastating for her having gone through that, and I really feel for her. You know, maybe she's got self-esteem issues or feels really sad about it because, I mean, they hired her when she was 16 and now she's like 20 and they can't hire her because she's overweight apparently. And she's still thin, but she's not thin enough to be a model. So it's really sad the industry is like that. But that's how the industry is, right? It makes sense when you think about it. I mean, models have to be thin. You know, not all models. If you're a plus size model, you don't have to, but models have to be thin. So I'm just like, I actually kind of look like the emaciated version of her when they took the film footage and changed it and adjusted it to the emaciated one, because I look like a plastic Barbie doll, and that's what she looked like in that fake picture. But I look bigger because I don't want to look anorexic, but I look slightly bigger because I look normal. But I'm so good, darling. Anyway, it's really sad, you know. It's like these models go through all these things. And I heard, you know, I'm not sure if this is true, but I heard that there was this one guy who said that when he went to a modeling agency and had been, I'm not sure if it was a modeling agency or it was like a model shoot or something, and he was there and he was like, they were all like barfing in the washroom, and I'm like for me, I don't throw up my food. I would never. I don't consider that healthy, and I would never. So I just don't believe in that. I look really good. I look like a supermodel, but I don't consider that something as an option. I would never do that. I mean, if I was too big, I would just lose the weight naturally. So I never would do that. And then, I mean, I heard that, and I'm thinking to myself, like, it sounds like it could be true. You know, these girls are very skinny. I mean, maybe that is true, and I'm like, that's very, very sad. But who knows what the truth is? I mean, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. Nobody really knows, unless you're in the model shoot yourself. But he was like, my daughter was a model, and we went there, and everyone was throwing up in the washroom, and it's like, okay, like it's really, really sad to see that people would do that just to be models, but look how skinny they are. You know, it's possible. I never thought models would do that, but I don't know. I've never been on. I mean, I've been on some model agencies. Uh, like I've been at some modeling shows and stuff, but never with a bunch of models in one room that are performing live and just like ready to see what they're doing or whatever. I'm just like, oh my goodness, like it's so sad. But you know, I mean, that's the life of a model. But I mean, for me, I look like a supermodel. I look really, really gorgeous, and I never will change that. But the thing is, like, I don't need to throw up my food because I know how to diet and exercise. But I just don't get how liposuction and dieting and exercise, oh no, liposuction and like throwing up your food and doing all these things. Like, I don't get how those things are even popular because I just don't get why people would do that. You know, when you could just diet and exercise, that's the normal thing that most people do. Anyway, I just find it odd. I just think like, why would you bother? Like, just diet and exercise. That's what people do when they're healthy. Anyway, bye now.